troopers and grinders. Welcome to Heartbreak Hotel. Combat sports are so crappy. Combat sports so crappy. Combat sports so crappy. I could die. That's how I feel. Well, since Idaho left me and Turkey was holding my hand. Oh shit, I'm going back to the desert to that oil land. Oh yeah. Heartbreak is so lonely, fuck. MMA is so crappy, yeah. Boxing is so bad, man. Go to Mars.
Hey, you know what? I'm trying to share the stream to the Discord, and I just got a DM from Kiwi. Happening live as we speak. He says, dude, I love your show. Hank is growing on me. Was he dressed as John Anik today? I thought it might have been a dress-up show
Tonight.
And this fucker won. I don't think I want to reveal his picks here, but he may have won some money.
Lovely.
But anyway.
On top, eh?
Oh yeah, sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Oh, we got a message from Capitan Rafuko. Yo, what is up, Rafuko? Where were you for the post-show, Rafuko?
I know. It's like it was really late and the cards were terrible or something. What happened?
Yeah, I know. It's totally not our faults or the organizers' faults or anything. It's got to be your fault, Rafuko. How could you do this to us? Come on. Anyway, I'm in a bad mood, if you couldn't tell, troopers and grinders. This weekend wore me down. Not only in terms of what the finished product ended up being for PFL, for UFC, for boxing, but for my picks as well, and most specifically, my locks for the evening. Let's discuss them, shall we? God damn it. All right, so first things first, we got the PFL card. I was doing well at first. I had Alexei Pergande getting the round 1 submission against Daniel Bolle, who has a rotten record. And he went to a decision. Already not looking good. He couldn't get this fucking can out of there. At least I got a correct pick. I was feeling all right. Maybe the rest of the weekend would turn out the same way. And then next thing you know, it's looking good. It's looking good. I got Keito Yamakita beating Yosuke Saruta in one fight night by this 3rd round decision. Exactly how I predicted. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm starting to feel myself a little bit. No Diddy, no Jones. But next thing you know, a fucking Fire Nation attack, dude. Fucking the bad man. He was a bad man during the LFA card. He was the baddest man on the planet, in fact, because he found a way to knock out Matt Adams by 1st round KO, exactly how I predicted Morrow would. And that was my mistake. When you got a guy who does nothing but enter firefights and see who wins in the exchanges, sometimes you lose in those exchanges, and brutal fashion, dude. And now this potential PDF file is roaming the streets with all of his things from that LFA show. I think I cursed that fight, man. Morrow was the hero of the story, and now the postmaster, whatever the fuck that means, is getting taken out by 1988 Michael Jackson.
It means he's delivering mail.
Yeah, exactly. You got mail. So then that didn't work. Next thing you know, I feel like I gotta pour more locks into the weekend because I gotta get the taste of that LFA loss out of my mouth. So I put 2 predictions into boxing, and look at this shit, man. Ziad Almayev goes to a draw with Mikhail Bulik. Already that prospect's fucked. Not feeling good about that. And then my God, dude. Isaac Cruz loses.
You put Esau Cruz as a lock?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
A KO too in round 3.
Well, dude,
I thought I talked you out of that on the preview show, but apparently not.
You almost did, but I'm always stuck in my ways, Idaho Skatesman.
Hey, look, you know what? A lot of boxing casuals thought Esau was going to just clean up on Rayo. I didn't know much about Rayo, but I did know quite a bit about Esau, and I just noticed that and we'll talk about this later, he's KO or bust.
I guess so. Well, he was definitely bust this time. He was busting, no Diddy. And Jose Valenzuela.
That's two, Sean. Mark him down. Sorry.
Nice to see you, Sean. Thank you for entering the war zone. It's fantastic. Skatesman sent me a private chat. Very enlightening stuff, I got to tell you. But yeah, I did fucking rotten. Good on Friday, and then Saturday it turned into a steaming pile of fucking crap. So I'm in a bad mood, man. But this is 1 in a million shot, dude. I'll get back on my feet.
And by the way, what's up, Musical MMA? Good to see you. Thank you for supporting the channel, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Safe Musical. Good to see you, man. But yeah, not good. All I wanna do is smoke weed and listen to the podcast.
But look, guys, if you didn't watch our immediate reaction after party, which it was not an after party stream that went for 45 minutes. I think our last one went for like 3 hours. You can tell how we're feeling about the fights this weekend. They sucked. They did not deliver. There were some good moments here and there, but outside of that, combat sport.
The only finishes that I was happy about was Dakota Desheva getting a pretty badass round 1 KO in PFL.
But you didn't even preview that show.
And then Martin Bacole getting a knockout. Well, I mean, let's do some previews for the shows. What do you want me to start with first, Skatesman? I'll share.
I mean, we could just run down the other shit before the main course that was Saturday.
All right. You want to start with PFL or boxing?
Sure. You watched the whole show. I watched one. Yeah, we'll get into it.
All right, let's take a look. First, we got the PFL. Yeah, pal.
The Pathetic Fail League.
Yes. No elbows. No fun league. Give me 1 second. All right. In the meantime, how's everybody doing here in the war zone? It's an absolute disgrace out here. Got people dying of malnutrition. We got fleas in the beds, man. It's not a fun time. I hate life here in the trenches. But that's what I got to do when I'm covering MMA, you guys. All right, first things first. Boring. Anthony Ivy, who the fuck is that? This was a surprising result. Good old Dedrick Sanders, just making his PFL debut, got a brutal knockout of Sergio Cosio. He was just hitting him with right hands, left hands, multi-combinations like you'd see in a Marvel vs. Capcom game. Excellent! That's what Dedrick Sanders was. And then eventually he hit a big uppercut that just sent Sergio Cosio down into the mat, crumbled him. That was a great finish. Very memorable. Good old Cody Law, who made him look like 100% of that Hicks in his name. You hear me? And got him down. Perfect RNC. Hit the backpack. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, that was fun. My lock one. That wouldn't continue for the rest of the night. And then Sergey Belosteny, in a heartbreaking moment, defeated Tyrell Fortune and submitted him via heel hook. Idaho and I were fans of good old Fortune, so it was a bad fortune for him this time.
Yeah, it sucks to see Tyrell get heel hooked of all things that could happen to you in an MMA fight. I mean, I guess it's good that you don't get viciously knocked out, but who gets heel hooked these days unless it's in Japan?
Yeah, unless you're Anderson Silva or something. But yeah, I mean, we both heard that Sergey had been beaten up Tyrell in their last fight before some disqualification head clash or something sealed the deal. I mean, we didn't learn anything more from this fight. Didn't even last that long. So honestly, a waste of time, man. Sad stuff. And then we had a fight between old Tyler Santos and Liz Carmouche. This was a back and forth affair. One thing I was typing in the chat as I was watching this, I was sort of multitasking and looking at the screen and chatting at the same time. I said at one point, Tyler Santos needs to keep on firing off 1-2s because they're really landing. Like she's hitting that on Carmouche every time. And just as I type that out, bam, big 1-2 sits down Liz Carmouche. So my timing was really good on that one. I should do coaching for a living with the MMA athletes. I'd definitely be responsible. I'd be responsible for more CTE in the sport. That's for sure. Of the opponent. But Tyler Santos, she had better scrambles. Liz Carmouche was sort of starting to show her age a little bit because Santos was just muscling herself on top. No Jones. And yeah, Carmouche, she didn't have her third round. Yeah, she did.
Come on, Sean, do your job.
God damn you, Sean. But Tyler Santos, yeah, she was able to stay on top, and she had better. I mean, she's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu artist, so she had better Brazilian jiu-jitsu than Momo, whatever the fuck her name is, you know. And so Tyler Santos didn't get herself caught in an arm bar or anything. And most of the time she was on top, and if they were on the feet, she just had really good combinations. So good stuff from Tyler. She wins, close decision. Then Popov had a really fucking rotten fight with Linton Vassell. Vassell had really good takedown defense, was winning the scrambles sometimes, but Popov just has fucking popcorn belly, and he just laid on top, dude. He had the takedowns and he got him, and that's the reason why he has his win streak. Nothing more to say. I don't actually see that much talent in Popov. As soon as he finds a guy who has good takedown defense and can chin him or knee him coming in, he's fucking done.
CFT, what's up, bro? Thank you for joining.
What's up? Hey, Combat Sports Today. What's up, my brother? Good to see you.
If you guys haven't, I say this every time he pops in, go subscribe to Combat Sports Today on YouTube and Twitter. I follow their Twitter, and they give me plenty of news that I didn't know, and they do a great job over there. So shout out to you.
What was the weirdest piece of news you ever saw reported by Combat Sports Today?
I don't fucking know.
All right, yeah. As I said, our memories.
Put me on the fucking spot there. Damn it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, you'll answer next time.
Bastard.
Next time you won't be better. But then we had the co-main event. I'd say the highlight of the PFL show. Good old Dakota Desheva.
This is Hank when Dakota Desheva fights.
What?
This is you when Dakota Desheva fights.
Let me see. No,
Again?
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I see. Wow, fantastic. Just shut up, all right? So we got this fight, and Dakota, I said that this would be the toughest test for Dakota so far. And Jenna Bishop, she did have her on her back. She had her on her back. Her on her back.
No diddy.
Wailing away, but Dakota Desheva, she was able to get right back up. I really liked her scramble ability. Patty versus Chandler needs to happen. We got to see Patty catapult his way to the title shot ASAP. I totally agree, Sniff. I mean, how else are we going to sell off those blonde wigs? We've got an extra supply. Come on. We need those clown wigs.
Nice to see you, Stiff. Sniff, not Stiff. Sorry. I don't know where the show is going.
So, yeah, she got right back up. And then, we got more information. Weirdest news we posted was when a mom knocked her son. That's right. Yes. I watched that. That was fucking amazing, dude.
Clout MMA. That's an aptly named promotion.
Beautiful.
All right. Well, we appreciate you joining regardless, bro. And also, let me see this. Cute little pit bull you got there too, my friend.
Oh,
there you go. Exactly. Eggplant. All right.
I know Tyrone Biggums would be a big fan of that username. He's had to have one or two of those for some crack, you know. But anyway, Dakota Desheva, she got right back up. Incredible footwork from Dakota Desheva. She's up, and then she does the Muay Thai knees. Bam, right on the forehead. Drops her right.
Dude, put your Ariel Helwani glasses on so you can glaze her harder. Oh, that's sad. Well, still cute. Oh, he's really going to go do it. No, I mean, that's sad. I'm sorry. Thanks for ruining my good time by giving me that news.
Dakota Desheva? I mean, she's been on the podcast like 3 or 4 times. She's such a charmer, man. And I tell you, I had her on the MMA Hour, and wow, I mean, look at the way she smiles, man. Oh, dude, I'd let her knock me right out. I mean, on an occasional one-night stand when the missus is away, me, Ariel Helwani, and Dakota Desheva. Wow, what a pair we'd be, huh, New York Rick? What do you think, Idaho Skatesman? Do you think her and I make a good match?
Yeah, I think that you and Dakota Desheva would make a great match. You know, and she's just the star of the sport, and I just can't wait to see her next fight.
Thank you, New York, Idaho. New York, Idaho. Right there, ladies and gentlemen, my favorite co-host, my podcast partner, and he's going to be with me at that Buffalo Bills game in a few months, let me tell you. Anyway, Dakota Desheva, what an incredible Muay Thai athlete, better than Anderson Silva. What a mensch Dakota Desheva is. And she knocked out that little worm, Jenna Bishop, never invite on the MMA Hour ever again. She gets the knockout. Incredible work. And she motioned her up like a badass, and then boom, right on the top of her head sits her. And then she did the Islam Makhachev.
So that was pretty cool. That was fun.
CST, no, I'm just doing this off my tablet. I'm traveling right now. He says, Hank, you should have a Talmud in your hand and wave it like a lunatic when impersonating Ariel. Well, that would definitely get us canceled, so we're not going to do
it. In the future. Canceled, but maybe not struck. I'll think about it. Sweet. Anyway, so then we got Dennis Goltsov main event, horrible main event. He just took him down and did the grounded pound, no Jones, and got the finish. Pretty average stuff from Dennis Goltsov, I'll be honest with you. So, yeah, that was the PFL. God, they have decently stacked cards, but they almost never deliver at a host Gatesman.
Well, no, that's not true, man. Their last couple cards were decent. I heard that this show was especially bad, though.
Yeah. I didn't watch highlights. Sometimes that's just in the cards, you know? And
I was watching one, like a real MMA fan.
Oh, yeah, of course. You love that ONE FC MMA. It's the only thing you talk about, man. The MMA, dude, it's fantastic. It's the cream of the crop.
No, that shit sucks.
Let me go through the card in a little bit, and you can give me the breakdown since you're obviously you're the more hardcore MMA fan. Give me the breakdown.
No, combat sports in general, like their kickboxing and Muay Thai is just fantastic, but their MMA, especially when it's in a ring, and I told you guys on the preview show, the MMA would suck because it's in a ring. No one likes MMA in a ring. Unless you're throwing knees to people on the head and stomping them in the face.
True that.
But even Ryzen's starting to do kickboxing and weird mixed rules fights themselves. So
I can dig it. But yeah, I got the ONE FC card. Did you watch this whole thing or from top to bottom?
No, I didn't, but I did watch this Amy, whatever her name is, versus this other chick. That is a vicious knockout. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure CST has posted it on his Twitter. Yeah, it was a fan. She folded her up like some laundry. Left hook, folded her
like laundry.
She did the fencing defense. It was awesome. It was an incredible knockout. Did not watch. Yeah, did not watch that one. Let's see. I think I started watching about the time Rambo got his decision against whoever the fuck that is. The MMA fight, that split decision MMA fight was terrible, but it was Hank's lock for the weekend. Elias Mahmoudi viciously knocked out old boy Taki Naito. One thing I didn't like was how many spinning back fists he threw, but hey, it got the job done. Taki Naito has now been finished. Sorry, Elias Mahmoudi is the first guy to finish Taki Naito since Tenshin Nasukawa. So
that's prestigious. Good
shit there. Yeah, nice. I mean, seriously. Would you guys rather see 3 5-minute rounds or just 1 15-minute round? You do it like Pride, 1 10-minute round, and then if there's no finish, 1 more 5-minute round. That's my personal opinion, but judge the fight as a whole.
Have you ever seen that get replicated in an MMA organization since? Or is it very strictly Pride?
I'm not sure. I'm a casual.
I wonder if that informed the action for the
another. Was this a no? This was a. Oh yeah. Ferrari Fairtex. I told you guys he was good. He's not. I lied to you guys. Sorry.
That was deliberate.
Russians are taking over Muay Thai, unfortunately. Anyway, whatever. Ferrari sucked. Didn't really do anything. And he got to be fair to him, he got a contract off of One Fight Night, which is like basically Dana White's Contender Series for Muay Thai, which is strange. They do MMA and kickboxing on there, but he looked good in One Fight Night, and then I guess when he got to the big show, he got smoked. So maybe that's something to keep an eye on for future picks on these Fight Night cards. Or
so be wary when you're seeing them coming off the Contender Series.
Yeah, on the numbered card. You then had Shamil Gazanov laying on a man for 3 rounds. That was terrible in MMA. Fuck that. No, it was not at all. What is up, my friend? What it do? Kick flip front board El Toro. Yeah, I'm not doing that, but
what it do?
I would literally die. El Toro is like a famous skate spot. It's like a 24 stair. It's huge. Rounds all fucked up. Yeah. Then you had Knock Rob defeating
The Duanglek Ted
Thank you. I had a hard time with that one. He says 20. But the stairs are big. Okay, whatever. Fuck you. Yeah, this was a great fight. Whatever the fuck, Lek. He looked good in the beginning, and then Knockrob just kind of took over, old boy. You then had Nabil. If you've ever seen Sebastian Fundora in boxing, he's a tall dude. Yeah.
Inferno, right?
Y'all see that Rolling Thunder kick from Knockout Japan today? I did on your channel. So yeah, that was a sick Rolling Thunder KO. People are saying it's knockout of the year. I'm like, nah.
Are you sure about that?
That's me. But it was a fantastic. Anytime you get a Rolling Thunder knockout, it's sick. It was sometimes Rolling Thunder knockouts in kickboxing are like the guy's coming in and he hits him at an angle, and that's what kind of folds him and sends him to the side. This one was like straight up and down, and so the guy like folded. It was kind of an interesting one. I don't think I've seen a Rolling Thunder straight up and down like that.
Nice.
But yeah, Nabil. Back to Nabil. He's a very tall man. He's very lanky. Like extremely. I mean, like even saying that's an understatement. The dude's huge for his weight class. Going up against Felipe Lobo, who had fought Jonathan Haggerty in a war. Nabil made it look easy. I said Lobo would win this fight tentatively. Kind of counted out Nabil because, Felipe Lobo put on such a great contest with Haggerty. What's interesting is Nabil fought Superlek in his debut, and Superlek made him look like an absolute can. So I was like, oh, dude's can, he sucks. But then
Superlek does that to a lot of fighters, right?
Sure, exactly. So ever since then, he's just been looked amazing. Lobo literally could not do anything to this man. Every time he threw a punch, he was like, a foot away from his face. There was times where he would counter his jab with a jab, and he was able to catch him. But yeah, ultimately it was just Nabil just outclassing him. CFT says, and Nabil's younger brother is nasty too. Giannis, he's only 17, the youngest WBC Muay Thai champion. Well, there you go.
Take a look out for him.
We'll be seeing Chachi ruin another family in one soon. So yeah, Nabil looked great, and he also has a Luffy bit that he does where he puts on the Luffy hat from One Piece, and I think it's fitting. A lot of fighters do that, but I think it's fitting because if you've ever seen One Piece, Luffy is like basically has the powers of Mr. Fantastic.
He's tall and he's stretchy, and so therefore anatomy-wise it works out. At least he had an excuse for it. A lot of guys don't. They even have short motherfuckers wearing the Luffy hat, So, yeah. But hey, didn't you say that you were excited to see Felipe Lobo? It looks like
And he didn't do anything to Nabil. I thought he would win, but he did not. Yeah. He didn't do shit to Nabil. So good win for Nabil. I can't wait to see what he does next.
That reminds me of a lot of the boxing fights that we're about to talk about on the other card. When it comes to swinging at air, that's going to be a running theme. But then we got the co-main event. Surprise!
They announced Nicholas versus Uracel too. Good. I think Uracel can actually get that one done, but Nicholas he did fantastic against Uracel. I think that's actually kind of a weird. I would like to actually see him not get a rematch, but I think he got beat pretty decisively. But you then had Mesa Bastos defeating Daniel Kelly in a grappling match. I thought that Daniel Kelly. Okay, I was crapping all over this fight as it was happening. We're all bullshitting, cracking jokes. The fight sucked. Blah blah blah. And then they announced Bastos as the winner, and then all of a sudden we started caring, and we were like, "That's a robbery." Again, I think that the fight is scored on the amount of holds you attempt.
Exactly, and she had more holds.
Right, but at the same time, Danielle Kelly was like the one really working the grappling. Bastos was really defensive the entire time. Long story short, the fact that the title changed hands actually makes it interesting. And now I actually kind of care. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, this fight's terrible. One's stupid. And I was like, wait a second, this is genius. Now I actually give a shit about their next grappling match. So,
can you imagine having title changes with the grappling championship? It's amazing.
now I care for some reason. I want to see Daniel Kelly get this back because I actually like Daniel Kelly, and no, I don't care about this. What Chatri got me for a second there. I don't care.
Mikey Musumeci is just going to be a grappling champion by the time that we have our heads sealed in jars when we're 120 years old. So it's nice to have a title change in grappling on occasion.
I don't like these crypto Saudis taking over sports entertainment. I actually see it as a declaration of economic war upon the United States. Well, that is a complex issue there, and we'll get into it a little bit. Ballard,
let's get to the boxing card.
Ballard looks like the short Wolverine from Deadpool and Wolverine, if you all watch that. Speaking of that, Jared Brooks just absolutely dominated Gustavo Ballard, who is 5 feet tall. Gustavo Ballard never did anything to Brooks. He got out grappled and choked out. So the card sucked the horn. The kickboxing and Muay Thai fights were good. But again, I'm just going to be screaming this till the day one folds that get rid of MMA, please.
Nice. Well, I'm excited to – I don't even know if I'm excited. It's nice to know that Jared Brooks is back on the right track after that unfortunate head slam that Bilal was not punished for whatsoever in his fight with Leon Edwards. Hopefully the monkey god finds his way back to the top because that's just an unfortunate circumstances. It's like Peter Yan with his fucking knee. You just want him to get it back and correct the ship a little bit, but hopefully he gets that done. He'll be against a guy in a freaking wheelchair.
I think it's stupid. They should have just gave him the belt or declared it a no contest. I mean, but whatever. He says that he hopes that Mikey Musumeci gets knocked out cold in MMA. Yeah, I understand, but I actually like evil Mikey Musumeci. So
yeah, me too. Especially unhinged on the mic, Mikey Musumeci. He's making.
It's like one is like genius with their grappling because nobody cares, but then some weird shit happens and you're like, wait a second, this should have happened. So then you start getting invested. Anyway.
I can't believe I care. Let's see. Okay, next week, do you want to talk about the boxing card that happened right after UFC? All right, let's move on to that, shall we?
Because I know most of the fan base is here for the UFC analysis. So
yes, sir.
And that is the bulk of the show. So
got to save the best for last, don't we? I don't know. I wasn't excited most this weekend. I'll be honest.
Hey, JL, good to see you, man. Where you been?
There's JL.
Should we have a special segment where we bring him on to let him take a victory lap?
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, especially after UFC 304. We have to give JL his flowers. I mean,
I'm going to do
so
that.
Cordial and humble and respectful with us this whole time. We got it. We got to give him his due. Yeah, he's working all the time.
Oh, he's working.
He can't be on the podcast. He's listening to this under his desk, Idaho Skatesman. I wouldn't make too many loud noises right now. Okay.
JL's a plumber.
What? Is he?
JL's probably a janitor somewhere. I mean, let's be real. Working at an office.
Yeah. Well, he's in the role of an Ariel Helwani in that he gets the dirt on guys. You know, he's got his insiders. You know, so that's why Dana White on several occasions has called JL a scumbag. But JL is a true man of the people.
Anyway, let's get to this box. This trash fucking box.
All right, give me 1 second. I'm about to load this.
He says, I'm humble. I apologize. I know you're humble. That's why it's hilarious, the way that you're so adamant about the fighters that you like. All right. So begrudgingly, I will go over this boxing card for you nice people out there. Scroll up to David Morrell. Actually, hold on. What's his name? Cruz and Moran had a good fight. I listened to the fight, the coverage of the fight, didn't actually watch it. So good for them. There was a KO. Moran was looking good, but then Andy Cruz knocked him out. It was actually a weird instance where he got a standing 8 count, and then the ref was like, no, he never actually got knocked down or touched the canvas. So kind of weird. And that was how did Crawford win a UD? We're going to talk about it. Just wait. He said, I heard Andy Ruiz was gifted a draw. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that, guys. Okay, so David Morrell goes up in weight. If you don't know anything about David Morrell, guy was on a hot streak and at super middleweight, which is 168 pounds, which is the Canelo division. He has been like the regular champion or silver champion in that weight class for a long time.
Very prestigious. Very prestigious.
But yeah, he was just like murdering dudes in the ring, knocking them out cold, just overwhelming people. He then moves up to 175, I think lightweight is, or light heavyweight. And he has this weird fight for another regular championship against a relatively unknown man named Kalajic. I think that Kalajic won this fight, not on the cards, but like just in the hearts and minds of everybody. David Morrell looked terrible. He never could do anything to Kalajic, who was literally just hitting him with pitter-patter punches the entire fight. His corner was even drilling him and just like, dude, you got to do something. You got to hit this guy, blah, blah, blah. So this was a bad look for David Morrell, who actually fought a guy with like more than 30 fights for once. And to be fair to David Morrell, he's young. I think he has like less than 15 fights. So, I mean, he wins a stupid WBA regular title, but not a good, I mean, monetary wise and, moving along wise, it's good, but just fan base wise, people are going to roast him for this. Boxing fans are terrible.
Seems to me like the judging was pretty terrible for almost this entire event. Like just because
I mean, I understand David Morrell won fair and square, but he really he dropped a lot of rounds against a guy that he was supposed to knock out.
Well, there you go. Not a big ceiling for David Morrell.
Right. Well, but again, it was up a weight class. So, yeah. He then had Martin Bacol knocking out Jared Anderson. Tried to tell you guys that all the boxing heads were telling me this would happen. Jared Anderson looked good in the first round. He won the first round. Bacol then just started to actually use actual boxing fundamentals, and he started hitting Jared Anderson with the jab. He then put him out with a vicious flurry, knocked him down. Jared Anderson was hurt, and he just never really recovered, and he got knocked down again and stopped, man. And Jared Anderson was a guy that was on Top Rank for a long time, being protected, just fighting cans, knocking them out. But we could see this coming because, one thing that Top Rank is good at is building prospects. The one thing they're not good at doing is taking them to the next level. It's very rare. They literally couldn't promote a guy like Bud Crawford. It was on an 8-year knockout streak up until this point. So Bob Arum literally said he's losing money promoting Bud Crawford.
Yeah, and by the time they actually invest in promoting him, it's too late, and then he has a terrible fight against an opponent. So you never get their timing right, can they?
So then Andy Ruiz, as Sniff was alluding to, he had a fight with Jarrell Miller. Though the talk of the town is that Jarrell Miller won, and I actually thought he did. Had a bet with Rush Hour. I said, hey, I got Miller in this fight. He's like, I got Andy. I'm like, bet me $5, asshole. So he did. He actually sent me the money in the 8th round because this was how obvious it was that Jarrell Miller was basically winning. The problem with this fight, though, is that the first round was fun. The second round was fun. The third round, Andy Ruiz, he gassed. He just gassed completely. Found out later after the fight in the ring that he had actually broken his hand.
That's not good.
So that kind of makes sense now, in hindsight. But regardless, Andy Ruiz was doing literally nothing, walking backwards, getting punched by Jarrell Miller. Not really like hard, but just with like really belabored jabs. This was literally the MMA version of Dada 5000 versus Kimbo Slice. I'm not even joking.
What a treat.
And though Andy Ruiz did nothing, Jarrell Miller did almost nothing. So if you rule it a draw, I understand because nobody did anything. So it is what it is. They had a really weird exchange in the ring. Jarrell Miller called him a bitch, basically, not in those words, but Andy Ruiz was like, hey, my hand's broken. So he was like, well, screw you anyway. And so they want to do a rematch. Please never book this rematch. Actually, just get these two out of there. And now we know why Andy Ruiz has had such a long layoff and so many canceled fights, because he sucks.
Yeah, he looks in awful shape, and he looks just as bad in the ring. And then once we get to the co-main event, this is when I actually started watching the card, because I was watching several for the evening, and then I tuned in just in time to see the big-time title fights. And needless to say, I was a little disappointed.
Tell me what you think.
It looks to me like Isaac Cruz is a bit of a one-trick pony. He presses himself up against the opponent and then hits him with a few body shots, and then tries an overhand right and usually misses. And basically, maybe he looks way better against other opponents, but against the body type of Valenzuela, as well as his more tentative style, it seemed to me like Isaac Cruz was just swinging for the fences and missing, and Valenzuela was too fast. And just with how he was built, it was hard for Isaac Cruz to find a steady target for his punches, because Valenzuela kept ducking and getting out of the way. And I think his speed, as well as his jabbing from a distance, ended up making the difference for most of this fight. Isaac Cruz there were some rounds where he shook it up a little bit, and he was able to land some big shots. He was definitely landing the bigger shots of the fight. The problem is that he could barely get any shots off, and the ones he did hit had power, because it's Pitbull Isaac Cruz. But for the most part, he just could not find a steady target, and Valenzuela basically took advantage of that for almost the entire fight, and just found a way to run away from his opponent and hit him with more consecutive shots than Cruz. And I think that basically made the difference, and thank God the judges had it right this time around, because if they gave it to Cruz, that would be a little bit ridiculous. I mean, you could say that some rounds were closer or more arguable, but to me, it just seemed like Valenzuela had most of this thing just in the bag. So,
yeah, I mean, when the commentators don't even know who's going to win the fight because they think that there might be a weird judging situation, I mean, look, there's a classic debate in boxing, right? Like, who's doing more effective boxing? Is it the guy that's trying to move forward and knock the opponent out, or is it the guy boxing, moving around the ring and throwing out the jab? The reason why so many people hate Shakur Stevenson, right? Because he's just boxing and he's not trying to fight, So that's exactly what Rayo did here. He boxed beautifully. The difference, though, between like a Shakur and a Rayo, right, in this instance, is like he's actually landing good punches. He was actually like picking his spots to hit Isaac Cruz. The problem with this fight is by the second round, we kind of already knew that the 12th round on, would look exactly. This is a rinse and repeat. It was the same round every single fucking time. Isaac Cruz could not cut off the ring. Never switched up the game plan. Never let Rayo move forward. What's up, Matua? Good to see you. Oh, geez. I'm
a wrestling.
But yeah, the problem, it was just the same match over and over, same round over and over and over again. It's terrible. Isaac Cruz thought he won. And to be fair to Isaac Cruz, I mean, that's why we like him, right? It's because he's trying to knock you out. He knocked out Yuri. He fought Tank Davis.
Just figured out when it's a more basic style.
Well, he fought Tank Davis when Tank had a broken hand and he got outboxed. He then knocked out Yuriokis Gamboa, who is basically a corpse they bring out to get knocked out. And then he knocked out Rolly Romero, which if you pick Rolly Romero to win that fight, you're dumb, because Rolly Romero sucks too. And that's why he was able to bully him around the ring, because he's terrible. So when he actually went up against an actual boxer, this is the result.
Yeah.
But shout out to Rayo, man. He's only got like 15 fights or less.
Yeah, and he's lost a couple times too, and he found his way to the frickin' mountaintop. So good for him.
Young kid from Renton, Washington, which is actually not that far from here. It's like a suburb of Seattle. But yeah, man, you got to feel good for the kid,
And Isaac Cruz was still saying, "Oh yeah, I felt like I won that fight," and "Oh yeah, give me a big opponent after this."
He didn't say that. He didn't say that. He said that I do my job, and whatever the judges adjudicate is up to them. But the problem with that is that your job is to win fights, really, as a prize fighter, and he never switched it up. So, and he wants a rematch. Please don't ever book this rematch, because it's going to be the same thing. It sucks.
Yeah. And then we had a whole bunch of stalling in between Terrence Crawford versus Israel Madrimov, where they presented good old Turkey Al Sheikh with a tiny little Heisman-like trophy. It was bronze in color. And basically, the announcer was glazing turkey for about 30 minutes. And I'm not talking about the country. I'm talking about turkey.
That wasn't the announcer. That was the head of the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame.
Jesus, well, that tells you where their values lie.
And this is what Sniff was talking about earlier. I actually see it as, the Saudis taking over sports entertainment. So I have a lot of thoughts about this. I won't belabor the point. This was absolutely disgusting. Turki Al-Sheikh has only been in the boxing business for a few years now. He's only held a handful of events. To give him a spot in the Boxing Hall of Fame because he has used Saudi blood oil money to promote fights is an absolute joke.
Yeah, it's hardly an achievement.
Saudi Arabia has realized that just having oil money is not the future. So they want to diversify their bonds, motherfucker.
That's bonds, man.
And they said, no, we're going to get into entertainment. And so this was a Riyadh season sponsored event, which UFC Noche is going to be as well. By the way, when does Riyadh season end and when does it start? Because it seems like it's been going on for much longer than a season should be going on.
I've said this before. Riyadh season's going all year round, baby.
It's like Toyota thought.
24/7, 365 a year. It's not a season.
It's like a Toyota thought. It's like a Toyota special offer. You know, it's just like it's always there. Yeah, that's funny. So it was disgusting to see. I mean, it was actually very calculated because they had all these legends hop in the ring with Turki, take pictures with him. And
we got some comments. Hold on, we got some gold here. Look at this from JL with Canelo Sparks. Why specifically, Jay? What? And then he does it again in the comment right afterwards. Has better.
I missed the comment.
Black guy. I wouldn't be saying all that shit, Jay, given your own persuasion. Okay, I'd be really careful throwing that term around. Why so? Can you just say Bud? He's got like a nickname. You could have like reduced it.
I was not expecting that. Holy shit!
That was so. He's fucking.
Well, it's pretty obvious that JL is a boxing casual. It ends at the start of. Oh my gosh! Thank you so much because I had no idea. Like, I'm just identifying him. His name is Terrence Crawford.
His name's on the screen, Jay. His name's Terrence Crawford.
Anyway, it was disgusting. It was disgusting because, you know, people usually get inducted in the Boxing Hall of Fame years after their career is over or like after they're dead. So to just throw Turki in there was the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame inducting Turki Al-Sheikh into the Hall of Fame in Los Angeles on a Riyadh season sponsored event. Like, just think of the dynamics there. Like, now we know probably the next big fight's going to be in Nevada, right? Because they're like, hey, we want to get some of that money too. And look, I don't want to belabor you guys with politics, but it was disgusting. It was absolutely disgusting. Saudi Arabia killed a journalist in a Turkish embassy. His name is Jamal Khashoggi. They murdered him outright. Ever since then, they've been trying to rebuild their image. I don't trust these people. But, you know, hey, look, it's not because they're Muslim. It's because of their track record, okay? It's their terrible, horrible track record. I love what Turki Al-Sheikh has done with the sport of boxing, but it's something that you have to realize what you're seeing. It's sports washing, and this was probably the most blatant example of sports washing I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was hard to sit through, to be honest. And then
they had him bring out a fan, selected a fan at random, which I thought it was kind of funny that he had to push a button, right? Yeah. Sort of like TNT blowing up, right?
Totally messes with the spotlight. Yeah.
Really weird image. And then he selected a fan at random and handed him a thing for a new car. Really, really weird. And then we had a fucking whole concert. Actually, we had a lot of stalling, just stalling about nothing.
We had like 4 tracks from Eminem for that concert that went like fucking 40 minutes, dude. That hurt.
Yep. And
by the way, the face of that guy who won the car couldn't have been less thrilled. Could have been less, even more like less emotional. than he was when he was walking down to get his car. Like, because I assume he's fucking filthy rich. And like, so hey, I could just have one of my 10 cars, you know. Oh, this
That's
is
a
great.
good point. The guy was like not even stoked that he got a car.
I don't think he
That was kind of weird, huh?
Yeah, and they just carted him out to like he was a Hannibal Lecter.
Something tells me Skate knows that wooden doors are not ideal for
here
filling
we
gas.
go again. God damn it, Sniff. We mentioned this in my debate, during my last debate. Okay.
Oh, okay, got it. All right. Well, I'm gonna leave that one alone. I've already said too much. They're probably coming for me right now. Anyway,
you're a journalist,
then we
right?
finally got to the fight, the big fight, right?
Yeah, what a badass
The number one pound for pound boxer in the sport, unless you are a anime nerd that loves Risen. This guy right here.
I do like
but anyway,
the ladies. I like to riz the ladies.
One of the best boxers in the world, Terence Crawford, going up against a guy. I called him a guy up to this point, Israel Madrimov. I have to eat some crow because I said Bud would spark this dude out, and I think that's what most people kind of expected, especially boxing casuals. Expected Bud to just spark this dude out.
Here comes the airplane, Idaho. You're wrong. Here's some crow.
Yeah, I gotta eat my crow. So Terence Crawford wins the decision over Israel Madrimov. I live scored the fight a draw. There was 3 draws on this, there was 2 draws on this card. And Israel Madrimov boxed well. He boxed well. Neither guys did enough, though. I think I wouldn't have been mad if the decision went to Israel. I wouldn't have been mad if it went to Crawford, which it did, or if it would have been declared a draw. Literally nothing happened in this contest. Bud, I think he won this fight by doing the Sugar Ray Leonard against Marvin Hagler tactic, where a lot of people call that a robbery. A lot of people say Marvin Hagler should have won that fight, but Sugar Ray stole a lot of the rounds by doing threes at the end of the round, and that's kind of what Terence Crawford did here. This fight was really bad, especially for all the hype that it brought, and just being placed on this card that had so many celebrities showing up to it. I'm sure that the pay-per-view numbers are going to be pretty decent. I'm expecting like under 300K, which is between over 200, but less than 300, which is really good these days for pay-per-view.
Hold on 1 second. We got some more gold from JL in the
yeah, he's going to ruin the pace of the show, and yeah.
Well, what's also pretty effed up, JL? Presenting a spoon to your podcast partner that you've done business with for 5 years in Chael Sonnen and humiliating him live in front of a live fucking audience, and then going back and forth with a guy who's supposed to be your friend and just being an utter a-hole.
It's funny that he would say mocking Ariel is pretty fucked up, and then he literally just called Bud that black boxer. So
yeah. Look, he finally wrote Crawford in the chat. Finally, after 3 attempts, he finally said his last name.
It's like when Hank does his Ariel Helwani impression, it's fucking hilarious, at least to me. The difference is when you're mocking Terence Crawford, it's not funny at all. Pretty cool fight. Well, no, it wasn't. Terence started kind of slow. He was on his bike early. Yeah, the fight was not cool at all. It was actually terrible. But at least somebody thought it was cool. Yeah. Anyway. What was your analysis on the fight?
It seemed to me like Terence, I think, won the first couple rounds. I think he got a few more good shots. I think he won the first 2 or 3. And then eventually I really liked the timing of Israel Madrimov. I liked his jab game. Eventually, sometimes he was hitting Crawford with some big shots that would knock the sweat off his head a little bit. And those were the singular highlights for the rounds. This was not a fun fight from start to finish. Crawford knew that he had to turn it on in the later rounds because he finally ended up putting in an attempt to land some power shots by round fucking 9 or something. So gee whiz, that was a fucking thrill and a half. But Israel Madrimov, dude, I liked how he was doing footwork and moving himself around and making sure to just sort of like Valenzuela. He was always a moving target that was hard for Crawford to hit, and that's why Crawford sort of embarrassed himself for the first half of this fight. And Madrimov was hitting the better shots. You could argue that Madrimov won this fight, but just looking at it myself, I felt there were more moments where Crawford was getting better combinations in and hitting him with slick uppercuts that were hitting him. So I thought that Crawford won, but not by much. And then as soon as the last couple of rounds transpired, that's when Crawford really started to pour it on and was eventually hitting him with better shots. So I felt like Bud won, not by much. All my respect to Israel Madrimov. I was telling people that this guy could be a threat as a boxer, maybe not against Bud, but as a general world champion, that he was solid. And it looks like I was proven right. So that was nice.
I like the questions that Matua is asking. If this fight is supposed to get Bud acclimated to bigger guys like Canelo, he may need 2 more fights. Does this fight give a better argument for Boots versus Bud? See, you bring up interesting points, but they're contradictive. But I'll answer. So if this Bud is supposed to be getting Bud acclimated to bigger guys like Canelo, the problem is Canelo is 2 weight classes above where this fight took place. So I do understand what you're saying, and yes, I do agree. He probably needs 2 more fights if that was the case. But the problem is that the bigger fight, if you ask me, and actually Crawford in the ring was asked about Canelo, asked about what's next, and he said, "Hey, whatever gets me the biggest paycheck," which is what he should be doing. I think that in general, this is a long-winded way to answer your question. I apologize, but in general. This was a bad look for Bud because he was supposed to spark this guy out, and he had a competitive fight with a guy who had 11 pro fights. This actually raised Madrimov's stock higher, if you ask me. At the same time, Crawford's stock was at its peak, and I think that was noted in the presentation and the celebrities appearing for the fight. But in all reality, the more fanfare and I think the more attractive fight money-wise is going to be Boots back down at 147 for all the titles. And
we got another comment above Matua's from JL.
I'm not going to read that. But anyway,
okay.
Look, dude, we're not here to have a fucking debate with fans, okay, or people listening to the show. That's for later in the show or different streams. We're trying to give analysis on.
You should have been here on Saturday, guys. You should have been here Saturday.
Exactly. No, nobody was because this fight ended at midnight Pacific time.
Yeah. We got
so yeah, no. The bigger fight is Bud versus Boots. That's what should happen next. And people have been clamoring for that fight for a long time. But if Crawford decides to go another way, I'm not going to hate it. But boxing fans are brutal. What is up, Andrew B? It should make Boots versus Madrimov and winner gets Bud. I like that, I guess. I don't know. This fight was terrible. So if I'm you, Hank, change your name to it's French name. He's changing his. Oh my God. Is Haney fighting Crawford? No. I love long-winded. The fates from the other guy threw Crawford off. You understand. Analysis. Exactly. Let's get to more analysis.
More. This fight sucked. It sucked. Nobody threw good punches. I fell asleep halfway through. God awful, man. God awful. Should have been much more. Terrible. What's wrong with you, Crawford? Anyway,
it was terrible. It was terrible. But, like I said, Bud wins random ass weird one of the 4 stealing people's money belts. So good for him. And yeah, I mean, I just, man, I'm really happy that Bud's finally getting his due headliner and like draw wise because Bud Crawford was never a draw. He was only able to sell it in Omaha. So yeah, I'm happy for Bud, and I'm happy that Israel Madrimov gets his respect from the boxing community. I think is fair to say after this fight.
Yeah. Well, in happier news, look how Skate Tank MMA did in our local rush hour city Tapology tournament. We got that handsome bloke, the Idaho Skatesman, up at number 3, and you got Hank, the mother-loving tank, here at number 7 in the tournament. So both of us did fantastic for the Sandhagen versus Nurmagomedov card taking place in the UAE. So very nice for us. And unfortunately, look who's down here at the very bottom. It's poor old leprechaun Sean.
Oh my gosh.
Right there with the judge with my heart, not with my head. Denial.
Look who's right up the and Paulman. Dude, you know what's crazy is Roberto getting 4th. He won last year the entire league, so that is shocking.
Yikes. Well, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. And then AJBO, I usually see him doing better. at these tournaments. That was sad to see. Weedy Gonzalez always very consistent with his picks, along with the degenerate Dane. We love.
Yeah, if you're in the top 15 in that league, you're doing solid because those pickers in that league are fantastic. When we really try really hard, believe it or not, to do good picks. And the last 2 weeks, I've been shitting the bed, to say the least.
Well, not this time around, dude. You beat me by points alone. We were both tied for the number of picks we got right. But Idaho was better, as he usually is, at knowing exactly how the fights would play out. And he's a decision merchant as well. So that's his trick of the trade. So he got it this time around. Good for Skatesman. But let's move on specifically to how we pick this card for Saturday and see where we line up and where we don't. First, we got my picks. The first fight on the card for UFC, Sandhagen versus Nurmagomedov, not the Khabib guy. It was Cedric Dumas against Dennis Tululin. Good battle. Cedric Dumas did exactly what I thought he was going to do and shot the takedowns and got him against Dennis Tululin, who has zero grappling expertise, and got taken down almost right away as soon as Dumas threw them. Dumas looked like the dumbass, of course, in moments. Tululin hit him with a few little peppery shots, but for the most part, Dumas just had better grappling. He was the younger guy, he was taller. This was just about a layup for Dumas, and he did exactly what he needed to. It did not result in a lot of entertainment. Did you watch this fight, Skates?
I did. I watched the whole fight. Picked the same thing. I don't have anything to add other than the fact that Dumas was saying that he's not a woman beater after this fight. And something interesting that comes out of this is the fact that why is Dennis Tululin in the UFC should be cut. Chat better, chill, unless you want to perma.
Too many losses.
No gas, all breaks kind of fight.
Yeah, exactly.
What is up, Kiwi?
Hey,
and yes, I have your.
Let's make Sniff our mod, shall we?
What's that?
Hey, Kiwi, good to see you, buddy. We should make Sniff a permanent mod. We need to make him a channel moderator. We need to make him a standard moderator, and finally control the action a little bit for this one. Know what I'm saying?
Dumas is a horrible person. Yeah, he is, and he's not a great fighter either. I don't know why they want to promote this guy, but hey, they're promoting John Jones still. So
he's a dumbass. We then move on to our second bout for the evening. Jayev
this is my pick
versus Bedoya.
Yeah, this is my pick. I picked Bedoya. It was a bad choice. I thought that Bedoya would outvolume Herbert, walk him down, and just land the better strikes on his way to decision. He did throw more punches, but he did not land hardly anything. Jai Herbert stayed on the outside, kept his kickboxing beautiful, mixed it up at times, and just made short work of old boy Bedoya, who is better in a scrappier fight. Jai Herbert has shown me good things. I'm actually pretty impressed with his performance here. Good win for him, and he proved me wrong.
Yeah. And I got this one right. Give me 1 second. I had Jai Herbert by decision. That's exactly what happened for the most part. But I think Jai Herbert, he had all right technique in this fight. But I would say for the most part, he had the power difference in this one. But Rolando Bedoya was hitting Herbert with a few little slick combinations, but then Herbert would hit him with something, a kick or a punch that would just stumble Bedoya. And I didn't know that there would be that big of a power difference in this fight, but that's pretty much what ended up happening. And Herbert looked pretty good in there. I did say he was very underrated and that he was having very close decisions with guys who have gone on to have decent careers in the UFC. So felt like that he'd finally get his due for this fight. And that's exactly what happened. But I think Herbert proved himself as a more technical fighter than we thought. And he didn't get a lot of shots off. You know, that's in classic Jai Herbert fashion. But for what he did throw, he landed and then some. So good power difference from.
Yeah, he was really sharp and precise.
Yeah, good stuff. So one of the best performances of Herbert's career, maybe in the UFC. So good for him. We move on to our third fight of the evening. God damn it, dude.
Yeah, we both had the same pick. We thought Dudikova would get this one done. I was saying in the preview show that Dudikova has good grappling. We don't know how good her striking is. In this fight against Sam Hughes, who's just, I don't know, I guess more physically there. And honestly, probably more just like training wise, more apt to the game plan. Dudikova never was able to beat Sam Hughes anywhere, especially in the grappling exchanges. She got reversed a lot and just outpowered by Sam Hughes, who. But I actually thought that Dudikova showed better striking in this fight.
Yeah.
What say you?
Yeah, she didn't look that bad to Dudikova, but I think Sam Hughes, one thing that's very underrated about her game is that she just puts on a lot of pressure, and she knows how to take her opposition down. When she's got her opponent up, she throws good knees, and she's good at having some dirty boxing. And no Mike Perry, and yeah, she showed off why she's in the UFC. That's her talent, and she showed it off for a majority of the fight. So good for her, dude. Like Sam Hughes, you gotta. She's a good underdog on occasion. Like there are a lot of opponents that she should be getting beaten by that she has beaten. So she's
a good gatekeeper.
Underrated, I'd say.
She's a good gatekeeper. But more to the point of Victoria, like now I really don't know how to pick her fight because she showed better striking in this fight. But usually she's more of a grappler. So now I'm utterly confused. I have no idea what
she's in Jai Herbert range right now. Jai Herbert range. Let's move on to the fourth fight for the evening. Good old Guram Kudladze against Jordan Vucenic. Man, I was from high to low with this fight, and you know who I was rooting for in this fight. I was really excited at first, and so was Josh Jaskes, who was in the City Life Project chat. He wouldn't shut up about Jordan Vucenic. And even though he's a little annoying, deep down in my heart, I did want Jordan Vucenic to win this one so he could go crazy. I was hoping he was, but he didn't show up for almost the entire fight. I think he was fucking locked in on his couch looking at the TV, just waiting for Vucenic to get the submission of the century. And didn't happen. We got close, but it didn't happen. And I think that just speaks to how good Guram was in this fight as it progressed.
Exactly. As Matua said, he just was the more gritty guy in there. Jordan Finch actually looked really good in his debut. A lot of people said that this was a robbery. Upon rewatch, upon the first watch, I thought that Vucenic won the first round pretty easily, and then the last two he dropped to Guram. There was a cut, and I caught the fight at the very last round, like the last 3 minutes, and you could see Guram was all cut up. And they're like, "Oh, he's the one cut. He should be losing." But it's like, no, that was actually due to a headbutt. Guram actually had cut Vucenic with an actual clean strike. So, just a weird booking. Vucenic took this fight on short notice. I don't think that this lowers his stock at all. I hope he goes down to featherweight. I think he can do better work there. But Guram he was just a more gritty guy and got it done.
Yeah, and it was a really come from behind victory, given that Vucenic dropped him in the first round and was beating him up on the ground. And then eventually, I think what really started to turn the tide was when Vucenic had Kudladze down in like a back position, and then Kudladze pushed himself off the cage with his feet and found
that was really cool. That was really cool.
Yeah, and then he started to really like energize himself again, and the old Guram was starting to come back. He's sort of like a Peter Yan, where he's not looking good in that first round. And then eventually he starts to switch on and start to realize his opponent. Because then then the striking started to come together, and Kudladze figured Vucenic out. Sadly, I'm thinking that it seems like just from the quality of Vucenic's performance in this fight alone that he's still with the UFC, even after a loss. Because he doesn't have a contract with Cage Warriors anymore. Right?
He definitely will be. The question is just what weight class does he fight in next? Let's do some matchmaking for this one. What do you want to see next for Guram?
Let me look.
Yeah, I got to pull up the rankings.
I think I want him to definitely be at featherweight since that's a better weight class and he'd have more advantages in that one. It just makes more sense for him to stay at featherweight because this is a jump up a weight class for Vucenic.
On short notice at that.
Yeah, that's true. He had every disadvantage in going into this fight, which makes it all the more remarkable that he was able to drop Guram. Let me take a look at the ranked featherweights for Tapology. Right now, Idaho Skatesman is frozen like Elsa.
Am I?
Oh, there we go. Now he's good. That was a wasted Israel Adesanya line right there. I think
whatever that means.
Yeah. Yeah, screw you, Drickus. Then let's see. Should he get somebody within like the top 50?
I don't have a pick for Vucenic, but I'm Graham. The problem is he fought a guy on short notice, So let's see. On Tapology, they currently have Graham. I'm scrolling a lot. Still scrolling. Fuck. Jeez, when did I miss him or something? Oh, okay, here he is. The Georgian Viking. They have him ranked at 38. Nazim Sadikov is above him. I like that. The Prince of Peru, Claudio Puelles, he would kill him. Joe Selecki coming off some losses. Ignacio Bahamundes would be a good one. Oh, no, he's booked. Let's do Mike Davis. I love Mike Davis. I want Mike Davis versus Graham next. Let's book it.
Sure. Do it. Do it live. Fuck it. We'll do it live. Okay. I'm gonna call Hunter and Sean Shelby. I have their personal phone numbers, so yeah, I'm gonna get it booked. We're gonna get it done. We're gonna get it. done.
Matua asked some questions. He says, "What does Vucenic fight at another promotion's featherweight?"
All right, there you have it. Let's move on up to
the east side.
Gaziev and Dontel Mays. Oh God, this one.
Did you pick him? Did we have the same pick?
Yeah, we did by round 2 KO.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why I picked that. I don't have any faith in Shamil Gaziev and Dontel Mays either, I guess. He got laid on. Actually, I think he collapsed in the ring, and his corner had to – the cage, sorry, after the fight, and his cornerman had to literally physically pick him up because he could not stand due to exhaustion. So that should tell you the quality of heavyweight that he is.
Yeah. He has not eaten anything that doesn't resemble meat since like 2020, I think. So he needs to have a few more vitamins and vegetables in the system, and then you'll see the real Shamil Gaziev there in the octagon. He's gonna be like Rocky, punching that meat. I'm a real champion, going up.
Yeah, Tapology is really doing Dontel Mays dirty with that Tapology picture. Can we get a better picture of Dontel Mays up there?
Yeah, he looks like he's on drugs constantly. That's why I don't pick him.
That's how he fought too.
Yeah. Then we had a nice surprise for the evening. Obviously not a surprise to Skatesman and I because we picked it correctly, but we were surprised with how it got finished.
I literally flipped a coin for this fight, so.
Well, thank the coin for that one. Thank the.
This was can on can action here. Both these guys suck, but Muhammad Yahya actually sucks a lot more than Fernandez does. Fernandez beat the hell out of his legs, and he beat the hell out of him and knocked him out in the first round. So, great way to kick off what was a slog of a card until this moment here.
Yes, sir. That got me hyped up a little bit. I was awake, and somehow I was fucking asleep, even though it was like 11 a.m. in the morning. I was already fast asleep, man. I was dozing. But that was the upper that I needed. And then we got another exciting one.
Hold on.
Momentum, it's always nothing, and then it's everything, and then it's nothing. There is no in between.
Yeah.
Momentum.
Matua says Muhammad Yahya versus Ronnie Yahya next. That's who they should have had him fight.
Yes, absolutely. How is that?
So, yeah, as you said, we had a good stretch here. Azmat Mirzakhanov knocks out Alonzo Menafield in the second round.
Perfect prediction from the Skatesman.
Was pretty obvious that he was going to win this fight. I think towards the end of the first, there was some clinching going on. A lot of people told me that this would be another boring Russian laying on a guy fight. If you guys don't know, Azmat Mirzakhanov is a kickboxer, and it's very clear based on the way he strikes. He pieced up Alonzo Menafield. Menafield, man, this is a tough loss for him because in his last fight he got knocked out from rushing. And I think that what got him knocked out in this fight was he just didn't do enough. He really was just waiting too much. And Mirzakhanov, you can't do that against a guy that has excellent striking like Mirzakhanov does. Hit him with a lot of good shots, hurt him, caught him with a hook, and then put him down on the ground. And Dontel Mays was totally knocked out by the end of it. Vicious ground and pound put him out. He was still conscious, but barely.
Yeah, Azmat looked way more technical here. Was just doing more in the striking. Had fantastic timing for most of this thing. Was beating up Alonso in the first round and in the second round. I'd say this was overall pretty much domination from Azamat. And I think both of us did say that Azamat is a very underrated striker. Just because he has that name doesn't mean that he can't fucking swing on the.
I mean, he's undefeated, and he showed why in this contest.
Yeah, he looked fantastic, and he brought a lot of energy to the show that night as well. The crowd was fucking hyped after this one. They were chanting for Azamat, and they got Azamat. So perfect prediction from the Skatesman. Brutal knockout, just rights and lefts, just put out Alonso. It was brutal.
Was this at middleweight? This was at light heavyweight.
It's light heavyweight, yes.
Let's match. I want to match make for Mr. Mirzakhanov, the undefeated fighter.
Let's take a look.
Yeah, I'm taking a look here at the light heavyweight rankings. So currently, they had Metafield at 15, and this is Tapology. Azamat was 10. He's got Nikita Krylov, who literally never fights, above him. Khalil Roundtree, I think, should be in a number one contender fight. How about Volkan Ozdemir?
Oh yeah, no time. That'd be a fun scrap. You're guaranteed to finish with that fight. He also Azamat fought number 15 for this fight, so it only makes sense to give him a bit of a jump up.
I like that too. I like that pick from Sniff.
Yeah, fucking put him out of his misery, dude. Get him out of the UFC. Get him out of the commentary team too while you're at it. Fuck ESPN.
Well, on paper, Anthony Smith has more tools to beat Azamat Mirzakhanov.
Yeah, on paper, because he's a drawing. He looks like a drawing of a fucking orc from Lord of the Rings. So definitely on paper, that would be a good matchup. Yeah, I don't like the Khalil matchup. No.
Yeah, it's weird that they booked Ankalaev versus Rakic. I think it should have been Ankalaev versus Khalil. But maybe he's still suspended.
Could be. Then we move on to another correct pick from Idaho Skatesman. He's on a roll for the mid section of this card. Yoel Alvarez brutally.
Did you pick Elvis Brenner?
Yes, I did by decision.
Okay. I thought that Alvarez would get a sub. That's his favorite way to win a contest. He actually had the fucking submission. I think it was at the end of the first, or was that then the second?
Yeah, he hit him with a big uppercut and then immediately locked in a guillotine on him. That didn't work out, but it was close. It
was like a Doris or Anaconda, I think. But and then the bell rang. Joel Alvarez showed why he needs to be more active, because I just love watching this dude fight. Win, lose, or draw, This guy's always in a good fight. He's huge for the weight class. Kind of reminds me of Dan Hooker when he was coming up, just how lanky he is, and just obviously has more tools in the grappling department. But Elvis Brenner, he's kind of like Pitbull Cruz, KO or bust. He's always in for a dog fight. This was a great fight. Elvis Brenner, though he did get knocked out in the third round, the guy never quits. He's always in there to fight. Yep. Alvarez was piecing him up. He had more tools in the bag. Every time Elvis Brenner would, rush in, Joel Alvarez fought very smartly, and he countered him nice, winning the exchanges. Elvis Brenner did have his moments in this fight, but overall it was just the Alvarez show, and he took over and got the knockout, man, in the third round, and just hats off to him, man. He looked great. I want to see him fight more often.
Yeah. In a way, Brenner's sort of like I think like a Korean zombie at lightweight, in that he's always tough. He somehow finds a way to get out of submissions. He's knocked guys out within like a couple seconds in the first round, and then sometimes he goes to fucking bloody wars. But either way, it's an exciting fight when Elvis Brenner's in town. But I don't know. It just seems to me like his chin's getting cracked more and more often. I don't know how long it's going to last. I know that he's young, but I don't know, man.
Elvis Brenner. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I just think that I hope that Elvis Brenner can bounce back from this, because I love watching him fight. But it's looking more clear to me that if they keep putting him up against these prospects, he's gonna go down. I think he
should fight at featherweight, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe. Joel Alvarez is currently 17 in Tapology rankings. Above him is Grant Dawson, who has a fight book. Bobby King, who just got viciously submitted and hurt. Patty Pimblett, I think that's a good fight. But Patty probably needs somebody higher up. I mean, he's undefeated in the weight class. Benoit is booked against Moicano. Hooker against Gamrot. Jalen Turner just got knocked out. There's Benny Dariush. We're not sure what's happening with him. There's Fazeev, who I said Patty probably should fight. Poirier will never fight him. Mateos at 5, he's booked. Justin Gaethje just got knocked out. Arman Sarukian is his only loss. I guess maybe you could run that one back, but Doe Bronx is number 2. I think that should. I don't know, dude. This is the problem. Every time we talk about matching up lightweights, is the top of the division so fucking jam packed. I think you give him anyone above 25, and it'll be good. But the problem is he's already beat Moises. There's Hackprast out there. Don't think that would be the funnest fight, but maybe that's one to do, or like Ludovic Klein or Drakkar Klose, or maybe even CDF. The question is just like, what does the UFC want to do with it? You know?
Azamat for his size is phenomenal on the feet. That is true, Jay. Joel Alvarez almost pulled his meat out at the end. I didn't see that. Did he? Did he pull a Diddy or a Louis C.K. on that one?
I thought it meant like phenomenal.
Yeah. The feminine. What? I thought that was like a phenomenon or something. Cranking out push-ups until failure while listening. Thank you, Snip. Well, at least you're keeping yourself in shape, dude. Unlike our fat asses. I'm happy Mike Chiesa's sub pick cashed out. How long until Tony retires officially?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that later.
Ask Tony Ferguson.
All right, let's move up the card.
I wish they just cut him. Just fucking.
Thanks for ruining the pace of the show, JL.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, don't read JL comments unless they're like relevant. Mackenzie Dern gets the win over Lupita Godinez. I thought Lupi won this fight. What about you? Oh, he's leaving.
I thought that Lupi won as well. Yes, I did think she won. Yeah, the better of the grappling exchanges. She got better off in the third round as well. I thought it was 1-1 going into the third round, and then I thought Lupi just had a bit more pressure and more significant strikes. As we saw, the UFC documented that she had more significant strikes in the third round. So I don't know what the fuck the judges were seeing in that one.
Yeah,
I'll be right back.
He's getting some water. He's got to stay hydrated. Everybody else should stay hydrated. Matua says Lupi should not have won. She did not win. Yeah, exactly. That was the result. Yeah, okay, get emotional, JL. We appreciate you being here, but just let's keep it to like what we're talking about, preferably. So I thought that Lupi won. I understand that she did not. But the one thing I will say about Mackenzie Dern is obviously she looked physically better than she's ever looked. I thought that her striking offense was much improved, and actually she had some different takedowns this time, which she was able to implement on Lupi. So good for her. The problem with that is that Lupi is so small. She probably should be an atomweight. But yeah, I think that Mackenzie Dern's biggest weakness still, is just her striking defense is terrible. She doesn't have any head movement. Every time she gets hit, she reacts terribly. I really thought Lupi won the fight, but that could have been swayed because, it was my pick. Hats off to Mackenzie. Neither of these women are going to be a real actual contender in this weight class. No. It is what it is. Mackenzie Dern's a draw, I guess.
Is she?
Mackenzie.
I mean, she got fucking embarrassed by Jessica Andrade.
She is a draw to some degree. I mean, you can't headline a pay-per-view with her, but yeah, she brings fans. I mean, people will tune into her fights,
she brings American and Brazilian fans because she changes her accent every once in a while.
Tell me about that. Some people were telling me that the accent came back, or the American accent came back in this one, which is strange.
She was starting to draw into that patriotic spirit, Idaho Statesman. Like she was on the frontier as a settler trying to claim her new land. You hear?
Well, it makes sense. It's election year.
Yeah. To be honest, she sounded like a 21st century soy boy. And then eventually she'd put a U and then in here every once in a while. But
then she'd talk about like this. Yeah, I was born in Silicon Valley and I worked on a TI-84 computer.
So she would like switch in and out between social media American girl and Brazilian forest woman.
Okay, look, he's saying, and he says that Mackenzie looked good. Thought it would be a beatdown. I had Luffy winning. Yeah, no, I mean, for that reason, she definitely surprised me a little bit, and the fact that it wasn't an absolute beating, but still, I think that Mackenzie Dern has holes in the game. I can see. The question is, where does Kevin Lee fit into all this? He says, "Are y'all saying she code switches?" Yes, I am. Okay, look, I've seen this happen before with stupid girls that date Hispanic dudes. They just switch their entire personality and they end up adapting that accent. So yeah, this is a case of that. Kenzie Dern lived in Brazil for a long time. Obviously a phenomenal grappler. Achieved a really high level of the sport. So she just figured, hey, I better just lean into this. So I understand it. Dern's boxing looked all right. Yeah, I think it was much improved. She wasn't swinging at air the whole time.
Yeah, I don't think she was training out of the garage this time around. I think she actually...
Mackenzie is not Brazilian. She was born in Phoenix, so I could be wrong.
Hey, we can just switch up our ethnicities and our nationalities whenever we want in this day and age. It's totally fine. You can't...
okay, I'm going to settle. I'm going to settle this.
All right. Let's take a look. See, let's get him the facts. Okay, right these wrongs. It's like
born in Phoenix, Arizona.
Wham wham wham. Well, national identity is just subjective. Idaho. It really comes down to how you feel deep inside your heart. Isn't that right?
No, and fighters, please stop wearing two flags tied together. Out to the ring, because just use one. Just use one flag, please.
You have to pander to those Mexicans and those Brazilians for Diego Lopez. Don't go, Diego, go. Come on.
Yeah, how would Mackenzie accent sound if she dated Matt Hamill? She'd probably sound exactly like Stipe Miocic after a fight.
She'd be a deep Southern girl, you hear? Let's move on to our next fight, shall we?
Yeah, but she has Brazilian ancestry. I don't know. Anyway, she's clearly like half and half, but that doesn't mean that she was born in Brazil. Anyway, whatever. We move on to a terrible fight. Oh, okay. So if you were born in another country and then move when you're a child, you can claim a new one. We then had Michael Chiesa defeating Tony Ferguson via submission in round 1. This went exactly how both of us predicted. I think this was the easiest prediction on the card. Tony never looked good in this fight. He good for Michael Chiesa to actually get a win. He obviously looked good in this, but it was against Tony, so I don't know how high you can rate that. I think the more interesting thing is what happened after the fight, in which Tony Ferguson was being pushed very hard by DC to retire, saying, hey, this is going to be your last fight in the UFC, so are you going to retire? And Tony was like, hey, man, I don't want to retire. But I don't want to stop fighting for the UFC, and I don't want to retire. So he was in a really hard spot there. He actually paused for a really long time before he answered the question, and he finally dropped one. He finally dropped one glove, and he's like, "I'm going to keep the other glove just in case I still want to fight." And then I think he actually posted on Twitter afterwards that he's not done. He's got more work to do. So that's terrible.
God help.
He says, "Hold up, bro. You said put the bag on Ferguson." I said put $5. I said put $5 on Tony Ferguson, which I did.
That's rent money, statesman. Rent money. Now you're kicking people out of their homes. $5. That's a crazy. My God. In this economy. But yeah, dude, at this point, I just got to say, fuck Tony Ferguson, dude. Fuck him. Like, seriously, he's just putting his fans through torture. El Kukui was fun back in the day. It's long gone. It's like fucking Boston, one-hit wonder. And then afterwards, you just get a bunch of fucking rancid crap. for years and years and years, and he's just putting the people who once loved him and loved his fights through fucking torture, including me. So you know what? Just fucking whatever. Go jump in a ditch, Tony Ferguson. I really couldn't care either way. He's just a fucking moron, dude. I'm tired of him. CTE rolled him.
I understand, and that's why the UFC is not going to give him another fight, which they should have stopped doing that a while ago.
Long-ass time ago.
After you get submitted by Bobby Green, I think it's over for you, but that's just me.
Yeah.
He says, Tony left one glove in the cage because he was calling out Nick Newell. That's hilarious. I would pick Nick Newell to beat him. So.
Yeah, Nick Newell would hit him with that fucking elbow, dude. Just fucking right through his jaw. Anyway, we're getting close, Idaho. We're getting close to our. Was this the co-main event? I think this was the co-main event. Right?
It should have been the co-main event.
No, it's the feature fight. God damn it, we're not even done yet. Davison Figueiredo beat Marlon Vera via 3-round decision, but it had some interesting highlights throughout the fight. I actually enjoyed this fight the most out of most of them. Fuck them for giving it to Shara Bullet versus Macau. That was not a fight of the night. This was fight of the night for the reasons that I will explain as to why. Figgy dropped Vera in this fight. First fighter pretty much ever to actually stumble him and put him on the mat with the strike. And I think the reason for this is that Sean O'Malley beat up Vera so fucking bad for 5 rounds that I think he eroded the chin a little bit. I mean, he was hitting him with knees like it sounded like a baseball bat hitting a fucking watermelon. So I think the chin's it's starting to lose its muster a little bit. And now Figueiredo, who was a former flyweight fighter, just had good timing, dude. And
former flyweight champion. Former flyweight champion.
Yeah. Former flyweight champion. I'd argue one of maybe top 3 flyweight champions. I don't know.
Who's 2? Obviously, one is DJ, right?
DJ.
Duh.
And
who's 2? I mean, he's got to be 2, right?
Yeah. And Brandon Moreno number 3 makes sense.
I mean, they both made each other, but I would say that Brandon Moreno's actual title run outside of Figgy, I don't think he ever had title defense.
Maybe Pantoja then, above Moreno.
Sure. Yeah, Pantoja's creeping up on Figgy, but Davison had much more impressive actual title defense wins.
Yeah, so that for that reason, and in such impressive style, he should be ranked at number 2. But he has power, man. He has power in his fist because he was able to drop Moreno in their second fight, and I honestly think the power is translated to bantamweight, which I would have never expected. But yeah, he was cracking Rob Font, and he cracked Marlon Chito Vera in this fight as well. He did. He took him down on occasion. The grappling definitely helped him win those rounds, but I'd argue that for the most part, he outstruck Marlon Vera. And it, let's be honest here. It's not hard to outstrike Marlon Chito Vera. Almost everybody does. And then Marlon Vera, back in his heyday, used to pull a fucking rabbit out of this hat and get the one kick or the one punch that stumbled his opponent and put it down. So honestly, he always looks bad until he doesn't. But now we're starting to enter the age of Marlon Vera where he looks bad and that's it, So
now,
Figueiredo just had the power difference, which was very surprising in this fight, and I think it paid the estimates, dude. He looked great in this one. I wanted Figgy to win too. I'm fucking tired of Vera getting a fucking title shot.
That's so funny. No, it translates into the God of War. So yeah, that's why he has that dyed streak in his hair because it's a God of War.
Yeah.
But so Juiceman says Figgy is underrated. Yeah, to an extent, I think he showed why he's not going to be a champion in this weight class to me, or even win fights against the top 5 guys, which I think actually Marlon Vera is, so contradiction there. But the thing is that Figgy gassed in this fight. He gassed hard, and Marlon looked really good in spots. I thought this was a close fight, and I think that it was 1-1 heading into round 3, and Davison dropping Cheeto in the 3rd round, I think, right? Won him the fight.
In the 3rd round, yeah.
But yeah, Marlon was able to reverse some of his grappling, and I actually think this was a valiant performance from Marlon in a loss. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not really hyped on Figgy because he had gas tank issues at flyweight, and and everybody was like, oh, once he goes to the bantamweight, those won't be there. Not true. He's still having the same gas tank issues. And actually, I think Marlon gassed too by the third round. So kind of got sloppy in the third. But yeah, ultimately, I'm happy for Davison that he gets a win. And I mean, this is just fantastic for his career. On the flip side, Marlon Vera is going to have to do a lot of thinking. The dude just gets hit so much. It's kind of getting sad at this point.
Yeah.
What is next for one Mr. Davison Figueiredo?
Well, he's getting up there. Didn't he fight number 5, Chito Vera? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they have him at 6 now. I think that's updated. Or no, they have him at 6 in Tapology. Don't know what the UFC has. Peter Yan, maybe even Usman for number 1 contender.
I would love Figgy versus Peter Yan. I think that's the one to make. That'd be a firefight, and they both great grapplers, both great strikers. I think that'd be a pretty even affair, which usually is a boring fight, but I think with those two, you just love to see them fight in general.
Again, the problem with bantamweight now, it used to be exciting. It's just kind of falling off because the top of the division, everyone's fought each other, and it's kind of just getting, I don't know, crowded, and just, I don't know, sucks. Kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But lower bantamweight's good, but dudes just have to do a lot more work. Hopefully, if Merab wins, it'll be a little more interesting. But that's the other thing too, is Merab's already like beating most of the guys in the top of the weight class. So
yeah, that's
Juiceman's got Peter Yan in that one. Is Cejudo still fighting? Maybe. Yeah, that would be a good fight too. Anyway,
I mean,
Magomedov
hanging up the gloves, is he? I'm pretty sure he has some more fights left, but it all comes down to these dumbass CTE fucks. But it is what it is. We then move on to Shara Magomedov beating Mikhail Olszewski by decision. Perfect prediction once again from Idaho Skatesman. He was on fucking fire for this card, even though he had the same number of picks as me. Tell us, Skatesman, how this fight went and why did Shara Magomedov win?
Well, you picked him by knockout, right?
Like the dumbass I am. Yes.
That's why he's not showing his picks, is because he got some of these methods wrong. But a win is a win.
No, I'm just doing it all for you, man. I'm just highlighting you and your great ability.
Yeah, whatever. So Shara, I picked him by decision because it would have been easy, and I think most people did pick Michael, whatever the fuck his name is, Olszewski to lose this fight by knockout. I almost did. But I know that Mikhail Olszewski is a serviceable fighter at times. He's not an absolute can, and he proved that in this fight because he's a scrappy dude, and that's what gets him finished by these higher level guys. You know, is he's willing to scrap. Shara Magomedov, though he's on a win streak and he's looking good, I guess. He just doesn't do enough in his fights. He has excellent kicks. He has bad takedown defense, bad defensive grappling, which I thought was a little bit improved in this fight. But that's the reason why I picked decision, is because Chara's kind of overrated and Mikhail is underrated. Though he is bad, don't get me wrong, and he did lose this fight. Probably should be cut from the promotion. But I mean, I don't know. This fight was bad. Not a fight you should call Nick Diaz out for after a win. But Shara advances. Good for him. He's just going to be another problem in the middleweight division. Not competition-wise. A problem because he can't fight in the United States. Sort of like Hamzat, he's just going to become an issue for the UFC. Congratulations. You got another Middle Eastern Caucasus Mountains region guy who is going to be a nightmare to book. Not because of the matchup, but because he can't get licensed in the States.
He's also a problem as well as a nightmare just to look at with that Michael Bisping eye of his and that leprechaun beard that looks like it was glued on. But, you know, he's just a nightmare in general. I honestly, this was before he even entered the UFC. I was having a dream that was just so nice. I was on air and I was flying through cotton candy clouds and, you know, I was graced by women who were feeding me grapes. And then all of a sudden from the sun came in that red fucking face. You didn't beat me in that BJJ competition. How dare you kiss your girlfriend? And, you know, he just was screaming at me, you know, and he blindsided me from behind. And that was just too much. And then all of a sudden, my nightmare came true and manifested itself in a real person. But yeah, Sharon Magomedov, he did what I thought he was going to do. He'd have good body kicks. He had good leg kicks. He was quicker of the two of them. He just looked like the better striker. Mikal went for his takedowns, but Mikal isn't good at getting somebody down on bottom unless that other guy is trying to take him down. He's good at
No Diddy.
Just not, yeah, exactly. No Diddy. Another no Diddy in our collection, ever mounting collection. But Sharon Magomedov, he just looked better in the striking. For the most part, that's all he did, but not enough to get the work done because he is just does not have, I don't know, he just doesn't have that killer instinct, and he just couldn't put him away. Somehow put Tricoli away. I honestly don't know how he did it. He looked so bad in that fight. But, yep, classic Sharon Magomedov. Fuck you. You're not getting Nick Diaz. Honestly, I think nobody's getting Nick Diaz at this point. You can't even put together a fucking training camp. So, what do you expect? You fucking
These guys can't fight in the U.S. because of their internet history. No, it's because his eye is literally probably can't fucking see out of his eye properly. So why would any commission license him unless it was in Texas?
Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas, including that beard. Yee!
All right, so we got to the main event of the evening. I heard some pundits talk about if there was Crawford versus Madrimov in this arena here, and across the street was Corey Sandhagen versus Umar here, which one would you attend? They all unanimously said Umar versus Corey. Whatever one you would have actually ended up picking would have sucked either way.
Yeah, you were wrong either way.
The correct answer was keep walking and go to the bar and go to the strip club. By the way, what's up, Denial?
Check out the WWE show.
No, we're not children. Oh, I'm not a child, so I'm not going to watch WWE. Though I do skateboard, so to each their own. But anyway, this fight was terrible. It was sort of like Rayo versus Esau Cruz. From round one, round two, round three, round four, round five were the same exact thing. Umar just being better than Corey everywhere. This is a terrible look for Corey. He got pretty much dominated in a boring fight. And then that doesn't mean that Corey wasn't trying, because he was trying his ass off, man. He just had nothing for Umar, who just fought poised, fought good. I always hear that Umar is a better striker than the rest of them. He showed his grappling chops in this fight. This fight was good. Well, all right, Isha, in disguise, whatever you say. Yeah, this fight was not good. What's that?
Yeah, now I know his alt account. He's Hockey from Home has the different numbers. Mailson has his little personas.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Isha's got Sablin, so.
I want to know what Ryan Hall was saying to Corey during this fight. I don't know. What was he saying?
He was saying, shoot the takedown and go for a heel hook. That must have been what he was saying. I think it would have worked, to be honest. Yeah. But instead of doing that, instead of listening to the very wise Ryan Hall / Claudio Welez, Corey Sandhagen tried to keep this on the feet, and he totally failed because Umar Nurmagomedov, I said that he was an underrated striker, and that's exactly what you saw here. He somehow outboxed and outgrappled Corey Sandhagen over 5 rounds. I do argue that you could make a case that Corey might have won. I think he did win round 1. You could argue that he won round 2, but everything after that was just pure domination from Umar Nurmagomedov, in my opinion. He just looked good. He looked like a great fighter at bantamweight. I still think it's bullshit that he got such a big jump up the rankings, but they always prove themselves right, don't they? Oh, I went from number 7 to winning a title, so I always should have gotten this fight. No, you should have never gotten this fight. Should have fought somebody at number fucking 7 or number fucking 6, like everybody else has to. But because because Dana likes you and you bring in the market in the Middle East, of course, we're going to give you a number 2 or number 1 opponent. So more Dagestani washing from Dana White here. I mean, it's expected at this point. They tried their damnedest to put this fight together for almost a fucking year. They tried to put this fight together, and they finally succeeded. They finally got what they wanted. Yes.
And it was terrible for all that buildup. That was the fight, really? Like what? I don't know. Yeah, I thought the fight was terrible. Knees and kicks is what kept getting him taken down.
It was just takedown city, I'd say, and then outboxing him, and then got him up against the fence, and then took him down. Just simple work.
Ryan Hall was in Corey's corner. Wasn't he training with Trevor Whitman for this fight? I could be wrong. Dude, if you had Whitman and fucking Ryan Hall in your corner and you couldn't do anything, that's not good. But yeah, Umar's fat. Yeah, he's much faster than Corey Sandhagen. Again, it's like, this fight was good for Umar, bad for Corey. Corey tried his ass off, so I'm not going to sit here and roast him, but he just had nothing for Umar, and I don't know. Umar looked good for him, but he needs to get a finish to really be in the good graces of the UFC. So it's interesting what's going to be next for him. What do you want to be next for for Umar Nurmagomedov? He's at number 3 in Tapology. Marab and Sugar Sean O'Malley are above him now.
I guess since I'm mean and I'm selfish, I'd want him to fight the loser of that fight. I don't want him to get a title fight because I think the whole thing's a sham that he's being given somebody so high up. But I guess if you're a casual and you saw that he had a dominant performance, I don't know, just give him the champion. Title fight city. Hey, he matches exactly the UFC's criteria, and he's a future legend, future GOAT on the GOAT list. So just give him the championship. Why not? Let's watch Sean fucking sleep him. That's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, give him Davison or Peter Yan if that fight can't be made. The winner of that or loser of that fight's fine too, I guess.
Yeah,
he's in the top 10 now.
They're giving.
Hey, why don't we just give him a debuting fighter? Oh wait, we already did that in his last fight.
Morons. And not even unranked. This is the first ranked fighter he's beat.
Corey needs to read a different book, maybe not being not being asked for dummies. Dude, Corey, again, this is what's gonna come out of this fight. I like Corey Sandhagen. I think he's a great fighter. But he just got outclassed in a terrible style matchup for him. And maybe Umar is gonna be doing this to everybody, right? But I still want to see O'Malley versus Corey. Me too. Before their careers are over, I want to see that fight for sure. Hank, everything you said about Umar, they did to O'Malley.
Well, the bantamweight division in general is just full of fucking corruption, and they all fucking jumped the shark. To be fair, O'Malley was beating a bunch of guys at bantamweight. He was getting 6, 7, 8 guys unranked, and then he finally got into the rankings at number 13. Had an unfortunate loss. He'd been around the block for a while, okay? This guy's had 2 or 3 fights, 3 or 4 in the UFC, and they already give him number 2. So this is an even worse fucking hype job than O'Malley, in my opinion.
I guess. I think you're fair there, but yeah, whenever the UFC has a guy they want to be the champ, they always push him really hard. It's interesting that they did that with Patty, and he never really. Well, yeah, he won, but he never really impressed. So everyone was like, "Fuck him." But now Patty's that dude. I mean, he's really impressive now.
He just needs a bit of time to spread his wings,
Yeah. So, I think the interesting things to talk about to wrap up the show is Crawford versus Canelo. I think that's off the table after that terrible fight.
Boring a performance.
I would pick Canelo to beat him for sure now, but call a spade. They wanted O'Malley as the guy and robbed Peter Yan. Sure. I thought that they robbed Peter Yan too, but I have my own conspiracy theories about that. I think that this was exactly the time that one country that Peter Yan is from invaded another country. So I think they robbed him for that reason. But yeah, I think I'm with you on that one, Juice Man. But you can't deny that fight was actually good. And if you're going to push a guy like Sean O'Malley to the title picture, at least he's fucking getting knockouts. Umar Nurmagomedov is fucking boring to watch.
At least he's exciting and has a following that isn't, he's from my country, brother. He's from my country.
Yeah, you're mixing up your weight classes, but yeah, let's let him fight John Silva at 145. I'm down.
Yeah, let him go down to 135.
This is at 135. This is at 135.
Made the weight change before he can do it again. He's going to cry, too.
I think Patty and O'Malley fight at 155 in the future. Dude, I'm here for it. Let's go.
It's a dream matchup. Let's do it for UFC 400 tonight. Badass fight, I tell you.
Biggie is God of War. Love him. Yeah, there's Ethan. What's up, bro? Good to see you, man.
You showed up just in time as we're wrapping up and we're escaping the war zone.
Yeah, I give the UFC card a 6, and I give the boxing card a 3, probably even a 2. The fights this weekend were not good on the highest level. I heard BKFC was pretty good. I was in Sturgis for the bike week. It's always bike week down there. Actually, just drove through Sturgis. Interesting place, very touristy. But yeah, man. I mean, yeah, I don't know. The fallout of this card is that the UFC needs to put on a better show next time they go to Abu Dhabi, which they are, seemingly, right? That card that's booked for Abu Dhabi 306 looks like a banger. Yeah, I mean, what are your final thoughts, my friend?
My final thoughts is that was a very fair assessment for the quality of the shows. I think the boxing card had literally one fucking highlight, and then we got a few more finishes on the UFC show. But for the most part, I felt dead inside during that card. And God, don't we have fucking Tybura versus Spivak next week? Yeah,
I don't know. Pull up the card. Let's just check it out real quick.
Jesus Christ Almighty! All right, let's take a look.
You guys don't have dono option? No, not yet, man. We're trying. We got our Cash App right there, scrolling at the bottom of the screen, but that's all we got right now. Deuce the Gara translate twice the guy. I'm 1,000% sure. It's God of War, bro. He's gonna donate $500, but whatever. Well, maybe next time. So we got the card here. Let's run through it real quick. Let's just see what it's gonna look like here.
Move on. Oh, and it's about the Olympic boxer. Let's move on. Oh, look at fucking Frankenstein and Dracula right here.
Yeah, just click it. Let's see what the fights are.
All right. Oh, we're spoiling the preview stream, Idaho. We're spoiling it, brother.
I'm not gonna give my analysis. I'm just gonna see what. So you got Tybura versus Spivak. Look, I'm getting more interested in heavyweight as the days go by. So I don't think that's actually the worst matchup. But as far as like a main event, where is this taking place? Is it in the Apex?
It's got to be the Apex. You wouldn't put on that kind of. Yep, it's the Apex. You wouldn't have that kind of main event and it not be
fitting.
The Apex. The
co-main is going to be Basharat and Gutierrez. That'll be a good fight. Chepe Mariscal, Damon Jackson,
yeah.
Good fight. Oh my gosh, Yana Santos and Chelsea Chandler.
Caroline Damon.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
Jackson is unstoppable. I think Damon Jackson's going to.
Check out No Chill's video on Charlie Z. Chepe Mariscal versus Damon Jackson, good fight. Yana Santos versus Chelsea Chandler is a terrible fight that should never ever be booked. They should just cut both of them. Why are they even on the roster?
Because Chelsea Chandler is a track icon, skatesman. She's so good at running away, dude. She's got Nike shoes that are her sponsors. We can't.
I agree with you. I agree with Matula. Nascimento Filio, that'll be good. Who the fuck is that?
Oh, yeah.
Charlo Malamala Gurdalu versus Toshitsimi Kazama from Subway.
From Cyprus. That
Jared?
One guy. Yeah. Eat fresh. That he's from the country Cyprus, which is right next to Greece. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
That's the reason they have him.
Don't know who that 8-4 fighter is, but apparently he's from Cyprus. Danny Barlow is going to fight.
Yeah.
Nikolai something Minov. Carol Hosa, Penny Kanzad. I mean, that's going to be fight of the year. Carl Williams going to fight Diaz.
Denise. We got Hionata Denise, the kickboxer who shut Austin Lane's lights out. Fucking flatline.
Yeah. Jarno Aarons versus
Jarno Aarons, dude. This is his restart journey. It starts now.
A lot of those fights should be higher up the card. I mean, they should do all the terrible, sloppy fights at the bottom. And then Stephanie Lusano versus Talita Alencar. I mean, what are we doing?
I'm just stop sharing. Fuck that card. I'm not looking forward to that. But, the way that these cards turn out, it's going to be a 9 out of 10 card at the end of the day. I just know it will.
Oh, it says that Medic versus Barlow got canceled, and that's why
come on. Nothing can go right with the UFC booking. It's good.
Well, look, we're almost at 2 hours. We got to end this shit. Hank, the Tank, do you have any final thoughts? Final thoughts?
I'm looking forward to anything that's not the UFC next week.
Yeah, me too. And Isha at Rush Hour, at City Life will have that up. He'll have a schedule up. Rush Hour MMA will have his schedule up. Go check those guys out, man. They supported us. They fucking helped us get some followers, and a lot of you guys are from either side of that. I'll be definitely checking them out. They're gonna do a show tomorrow, Rush City Fight Club. They always show a good hockey fight. So we're almost at 2 hours talking about these terrible fights. I didn't think this stream would go on this long.
Yeah, but when it's the worst of MMA, that's when we talk the most. And isn't that?
I know, right? Yeah. All right, man. Bring us out.
You have escaped the war zone for now. Well, since my turkey left me, my life has been in hell. I do heartbreak.